All right, we're live. Another Sunday. Pretty beautiful one, if you ask me. Just realizing I need to get some power to my computer, but we're going to keep the show moving as it is. Let me just close some programs out here. Okay. Happy Sunday, everybody. Oh, where am I? I'm up there, top left corner. There we go. Cool. We have not a really super tight agenda today, but we have a few things that I want to go through. We also have a guest coming on at the top of the hour. Yeah, just trying to fix that camera angle for you there on the beach. But today, we have a pretty nice day today. Very, it was a lot sunnier, but still pretty nice and cool. Have a decent breeze out there. We've been getting super lucky the last few Sundays. No complaints, but we're inside, so at least we don't have to go through the rapid breakdown and setting back up that we used to when I used to be outside, which I didn't mind doing, but this is definitely a lot less stressful, even though I do have some assistance with Chad. I got some updates on the channel and things that we have coming up that I'm excited about, and then also we were supposed to have a release yesterday. I guess maybe that's the first thing they can get into at some point, but we'll talk about the release that was supposed to happen yesterday that unfortunately didn't, but it's already all edited. A lot of technical difficulties. Not your problem, my problem. And we will definitely talk about the Anthropex a little bit, but I guess the main thing today is talking more construction than anything else. And we have Mr. Dwight Shirley on, who was supposed to have last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago. I can't remember. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, but he's from Earthworks Jamaica, and he's a lead designer for it. And we spoke with his sister a few weeks before that about the community that they created in St. Thomas, and hopefully looking to do in-person collaboration with them, because it was so interesting learning about farming and community building, like not just like Negril community, but like a self-sustaining community in itself, and it was very, very interesting. And we thought that it would be a good idea to have the designer of some of the buildings that they have on their property to come on in Dwight, that is. So, of course, let me know where you all are chiming in from, what part of the world, city, state, country, province. Always good to hear from where everybody is chiming in from. We are in, for those that don't know, we are on the 7-mile strip of Negril, Jamaica. And this is something that we do pretty much every Sunday. We're starting a little bit later than we wanted to today, but that's okay. And we always talk about many different things. All has to do with Jamaica, and a lot of it, the financial impact when we kind of go a little bit broader than Jamaica, but the financial impact that other parts of the world have on Jamaica, and much so talking about the opportunities that are already in existence in Jamaica and those that are in the pipeline, so to speak. And we like to sit down. We're trying to be a little bit more consistent with our Sundays and bringing on different guests with different expertise and trying to diversify the content that we have a little bit. So it's not always just me talking, even though I love doing that. And we love talking about different topics and letting you know, just bringing, I would say, again, these opportunities to the forefront of the table. Also want to touch on a few guests that we have coming up for future podcasts, like imminent podcasts that we have coming on. I don't necessarily like to hide these things, but you're here on the live. I figure why not? Why not tell you all before the rest of the world knows? And so you have something to look forward to over the next few weeks. And Yes, we got some really like stellar guests coming on the podcast in a few weeks. So very, very excited. I won't necessarily say who they are, but you'll know what the podcasts are about, and hopefully we continue to deliver on value as much as humanly possible. Have some. Hopefully, we have some time to get through some of these articles that I want to talk about. They all have to do with construction. I wouldn't say construction only, but construction and investing in Jamaica. So we can go through those in a little bit, certainly after Mr. Shirley comes on, and we could talk about those and just. I think more than anything else, just trying to build a holistic picture of did not mean to do that, of Jamaica in terms of what's happening. And I was just speaking uh, with a subscriber this morning who's in town, and they were just saying that there was a lot of information on the podcast that they weren't aware of. So that makes me feel good when I hear these things, that the information that I'm bringing across on this channel is of value to people, and maybe there are things that people weren't aware of, and hopefully it's building a comprehensive picture of where Jamaica is and where it's going, and then also context as well in terms. And I will say this, like, I haven't seen the level of activity that we have going on, have had going on in the last 2 years, compared to the 15 years prior that I've been here. And so something is definitely very, very different. And I want to share those differences with you as objectively as I possibly can. But also, I do believe that my experience does have value, and to bring that context from my point of view. And this is not necessarily to push you in one direction or the other, but I always look at it as I'm presenting information to you, and you can do with that information what you will. And especially, I always say, like I think Jamaica has like a very a not so good reputation in the media, and I just encourage people not to allow that to distract you from hopefully pursuing different opportunities that exist. And you shouldn't allow these sort of things to scare you or dissuade you. All right, let's get to the comments real quick before we invite our guest on. Hey, what's going on, Andrew? Nice to see you. Afternoon, Donna Bryce. Checking in from Ottawa. Nicole, maybe I wasn't on screen when you first hopped on, but I'm here. Got Chad in the chat. Jeff chiming in from Montreal. What's happening, Jeff? Hey, Kevin. Good afternoon, Throp. Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Toronto. Awesome. We got a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Jamaica here too. Happy to hear you getting some nice weather over there. Jen checking in from Alberta. Marpal in Connecticut. Very nice. Moonlight Queen, hello, Throp and friends tuning in from San Diego. Oh man, I love San Diego. I miss San Diego. Hopefully I'll get there. I don't know when, but probably not this year. At least I don't have. Actually, what am I talking about? I might go out there for a race at the end of the year in just early December. I'm not sure. That remains to be seen. Joy says, happy Sunday from New Brunswick. Moved from Toronto. Okay. Good to have you, Joy. Jenna says, Lake Worth, Florida, in the house. Will we be talking about the PM's visit to St. Thomas a few days ago? Yes, actually, that's one. Oh, I don't have an article on it, but I wanted to talk about that. Want to talk about his visit, really, just from like stuff that I've seen posted on his social media more than anything else. Tia McKay chiming in from South Korea. Awesome. That's my cousin Tia. She's out there working. Awesome, Tia. Thanks for joining. Always appreciate it, especially from so far. Esther, blessings, my JA people. Thanks, Esther. Wilbur Grant says, good afternoon, Throp family. Wayne from Florida. Currently listening on my trip in Edmonton, Edmonton, Alberta. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, Safi. Good to see you. Ella says hello from Liverpool, UK. Traveling soon to Dominica. Very nice. Never been to Dominica, but I hear good things. Awesome, awesome. All right, we got about where are we at? About 5 minutes or so. So we ask our a couple minutes so we ask our guests to join us. We have some. So I guess I'll talk about one thing before we go into it. So we're having a guest. The next podcast that we're recording this week, we have a guest that has moved from. She's a YouTuber, actually, a Jamaican YouTuber, and she is a young woman that moved from the States to Jamaica. I don't know how long ago, but she has a young son, and they have a YouTube channel together. And you may or may not know her, or you may be following her. Good for you if you don't. If you do, excuse me. But really happy and excited to have them coming on to learn about their journey, why they moved to Jamaica, why she chose to move to Jamaica, and also get an idea and understanding of what her life is like and her lifestyle and basically how it's going for her. And this is something that I want to continue to go down the path of. I don't think that this is being highlighted enough, is the amount of young people that are moving to Jamaica from not just the States, but really from all over the world. And just really give them, like, share their stories. So there's like a few of these uh, people that fall into that category that have moved from. Oh yeah, well, that's mostly United States, but I think it's the story remains still has its value regardless of where they're moving from. But they're moving from one country to another in their either their prime or the rise of their career. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have them come on and to tell their story. So that's this week. We're filming later in this week. I think Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, but got it written down somewhere in the calendar. But that's the one thing that we have coming up shortly. So just wanted to let everybody know about that and to look out for it. Moonlight Queen says, I did the Carlsbad half marathon in January. It was my first half marathon. It was great. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Carlsbad. Where is that? Jackie chiming in from Houston, Texas. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. Opal MC says, big up from London. Cool. Nice to have you. King Naldo in the building. Chiming in from Maryland. A Hicks. Droppers watching from BK. All right. Cool. We are okay. I think we're ready to go. I see our guest is ready to go. And just a few more people came in. So let me give a brief introduction. So we have Dwight Shirley. He's a lead designer at Earthworks Jamaica. And I'll try and bring up the pictures, but very unique designed buildings. And I'm not going to I won't say ruin, but I'll allow him to explain the uniqueness of these design buildings and also give a bit of a background on himself. So let's see if we can have Dwight hop on. Okay, Dwight, hold on. I think you're on mute. Yeah, I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep, there we go. I can hear you now.
Can you hear?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. Yep, I can hear you very well. You cut out from time to time, but I can hear you.
Okay. Great, Dwight. Like, really nice to have you. Finally, happy that this is finally working out. And this is something that I know a lot of people were interested in and interested in. Awesome, interested in your designs. And with that, if you can just give us like a whole background on yourself and what you do. think there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to give you a sec. Are you there, Dwight? Are you hearing me? All right. Are you all hearing me? I think we're having some technical difficulty. I don't think Dwight is hearing me, but is everybody else hearing me? Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, Dwight. Everybody's hearing me, but we're not hearing you. Okay, yeah. Seems like everybody's hearing me, but not hearing you, Dwight. All right, we're gonna have somebody contact you, Dwight, see if we could figure this out, and then we'll bring you back on, but we're not hearing you right now. Hold on once, let me see if chat can help you out. Give us 1 second here, everyone, please. Yeah, sorry about that. Same issue as last time. We thought we had it figured out, but unfortunately not working out right now. We're gonna try and get him back on. Chad is on the phone with Fabrika, and they'll they'll do what they can. But let's continue with announcements that we have going on, and then we can, if it works out with Dwight, we'll bring him back on. All right. So more announcements, and then we'll go hop into the articles. Thanks. So another thing we're filming, we're doing a. Actually, I probably shouldn't say which property, but there is. I was talking with, and let me know. I have my own theories on this, so let me know what you all think. Um, but there are a lot of properties for sale, commercial properties for sale in Negril, and I've never seen it like this before, at least at this rate. And I've gotten multiple phone calls from different real estate agents. I want to say in the last 6 to 8 weeks about doing features on these different commercial real estate properties, and it could also be a combination of the growth of the channel, because in the last 2 months we've grown pretty well, at least at a higher rate than we're used to. So that could be just more eyeballs on the community and what we're doing, and people watching the content. And so different real estate realtors and owners have been reaching out to me, which is cool. And so even yesterday, I did a site visit for a commercial property that is for sale, and then we're doing another site visit earlier this week, and then perhaps we'll be working together with some of these properties to get the word out on its sale. And this kind of, it's cool to be a part of, and cool that people are reaching out, but also it's like thinking, what does this mean, or where does this in the history of things, of Negril, of Jamaica, like what kind of context can be drawn from this? And again, I have my own kind of theories about what's happening and what's going on, but it's just a point to note and something. And I hate to like just kind of put these things out there like that, just from in an anecdotal way. But I would love to put some numbers to this, so that's what I'm actually going to try to do this week. So and if I could get some historical sales data, I will also bring that to context as well, for your purposes and for my purposes. And these and some of these properties are prime real estate, like literally on the beach. That some of these properties are going for sale, and I'd be more than happy. I know it would bring a lot of joy to the owners, and many of these owners have been owners for a very long time, and it would bring a lot of joy to them to get the right owner, I would say, because Negril is a small community, and hopefully these properties don't stay for sale for too long. And what has happened in the past is like some of these properties unfortunately become uh, derelict and trouble properties. And I'm not seeing so much of that, at least on the beach itself. I'm not seeing so much of that, at least not what I saw when I first moved here. So it's a very interesting time, I would say, and something to make note of. If you were at ThropX 2022, there's only been one. You were able to come and you did a site visit with us to a commercial real estate property that was for sale. It wasn't on the beach, but it was on the beach road, and everybody saw tremendous potential in this property. And it wasn't a property that was a turnkey property, but I say that because like I appreciated the vision of everybody who was there that saw that this is definitely a diamond in the rough, and everybody was just kind of like, man, we could turn it into this, we could do this, we could do that, and we can make things happen, even if it is not a turnkey property. Just everybody seeing the real potential, and then also seeing the real potential not only in that singular property, but how it fits into the broader context of the grill and the direction that it's going on. So interesting times, I would say. Interesting times. That's again just my anecdotal observation from being here for over 15 years, and I will look into the doing data collection and bringing more of a quantitative approach to my observations and see if we can make something of all this. Right. Um, I'll leave it at that. And then as we work with these different realtors and these these property owners, and we release the videos that go with them, we can take it from there. And I think that'll also bring some different eyeballs to Negril, and hopefully show Negril in a different light. And I think when I look back, if I'm like assessing myself and assessing the videos that I have, the real estate videos that I put out on Negril, I don't think I necessarily did a good job or the best job of bringing context to Negril in respect to its potential. And you don't, right, and I'm just thinking from like an investment standpoint, you don't necessarily want to invest in a property, community, country, city at the peak of its market, right? Like, I don't know, is like, New York City is obviously a very mature market. Like, to buy a building, a home, an apartment in Manhattan now, like, we're talking, on average, we're talking millions, right? What do you get for millions? Probably not a lot. And like when I say millions, like 1 to 2 million, probably not a lot, right? Um, but if you take that and you invest in a place like Negril or maybe some other part of Jamaica, what that can eventually grow into and be valued at in 10 years from now, it's upside is what I'm trying to say here. It's a lot of upside. So let me hop into the comments real quick. Lisa Marie says, good day, Throp family. Chiming in from Connecticut. Shayna, good to see you. Thanks for hopping in. Shayna says, hey, Throp, saw your boy Matthew and the Scotch Boy founders and brand featured in a digital magazine. The magazine is called Island Origins. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, they are well deserved. Well deserved. These guys are absolutely killing it, representing Negril, representing Jamaica globally, and always wishing them all the best, man. Really happy for them. And for those that don't know, Matthew, we did a podcast together on my channel. We talked about his startup company, Scotch Boys, that he partnered with his friends. And it is Scotch bonnet hot sauce that they've literally taken global at this point. and they're doing like some really amazing things. They have a lot of other amazing products, and also media coming out as you speak about Island Origins, the digital publication. That's there more and more is coming, and they also talk about their distribution. Chantel, as you see, as I see you put, Scotch Boys products will be in Target soon. Yeah, they're going all over. These guys are doing a phenomenal job. And he's also the owner of Matthew's restaurant here in Negril. So definitely super proud of him and what he's doing. Mr. and Mrs. Ming, greetings, Throp Media crew, and all Throppers worldwide. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Gareth says, hope they are not sold to foreign investors. Some may or may not be. It's, to me, this is, and we could talk about that, Gareth. We can talk about that. I know I've been seeing a lot of comments in the comment section of people getting upset about foreign investors coming in to Jamaica, but as an owner, like if I'm going to sell my property here and a foreign investor has the money that I am looking for to sell my hotel, I'm going to sell it to them. Why wouldn't I? And it doesn't have to be a hotel. It could be a parking lot, whatever it is. So just keep that in mind, and I would like to hear more of your thoughts on that, Gareth, and try to understand your perspective a little bit more. Ewan Crook says, you're doing a good job showcasing my beautiful island. Just wanted to say, Miss Jamrock also doing a good job. To your subscribers, should also subscribe to Miss Jamrock from Hanover. Cool. Clary T Media says, OMG, am I here with you live? Your information has been the baseline for me since November 2022. I'm a native Californian. I'm going to retire in Negril in the next 6 months. Awesome. Congratulations, Clary T. Best of luck on your journey and the new chapter in your life. Jovi says, can you do more videos on commercial real estate in Jamaica? Yes. That is coming up like you have no idea. A lot more commercial real estate property. Clarity says, I'm in the process of buying a half an acre in Negril. I'm so freaking excited. I am in love with Jamaica, especially in Negril. I'll be there next week to secure a rental while I make the transition. Awesome. She says, my business is in nonprofit multimedia for the U.S. government. Good for you. Dolores says, hello, everyone. Portlander in London, watching from Millbank in the cool Rio Grande Valley. Good for you. Okay, I think I see Dwight in the back studio there. Okay, all right, let's try Dwight again. Let's see if we can get him going, and then we'll come back to the comments shortly after. Hey, Dwight.
Hello. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. Okay, wait. Yeah, I can hear you now. See you now. Perfect.
Excellent. So,
all right. Yep.
I was just going to start from where you left off.
Please do.
Okay. My background is I was born and lived in Jamaica until I was about 13, and then I moved to Philadelphia in about 1984. I went to high school in Philadelphia, and I ended up getting a football scholarship to play at Boston College. So I spent 4 years at Boston College, and I had an undergraduate degree of education. I was an elementary education teacher. After I finished school, I taught for a year or so and took up woodworking and furniture building, and did that for quite a number of years. Did also some production work for a production company doing set building. And after that, I decided I wanted to go to graduate school. I was always interested in building and design. So I went to Drexel University for interior architecture. And in my senior year there, working on my thesis project, I came across a copy of Dwell magazine. On the cover, it had a picture of an earthbag structure. So I reached out to my sister and said, listen, this looks perfect for Jamaica. This looks like we can do this. We purchased the DVD on how to build it. We watched it a number of times, showed the local builders, and we built our first structure on the property. For the second structure, we invited the people that wrote the book on the tips and techniques on earthbag building, and we did a 2-week workshop. We invited NHT, and they invited some of their housing recipients, and we got to about 3 feet on the wall all the way around after the 2-week workshop. And once the workshop was over, we finished the building on our own with learning the new tips and techniques. So we got everything plumb and right and everything very strong. Since that, we've been trying to work with different organizations. NHD, of course, they put us in their magazine and featured us a number of times. And also with the HHA, they've approached us about sustainable building. So our goal at Earthworks is to provide sustainable, efficient housing at a low cost. So we're trying all the time on different methods on how to create cheaper living. A little bit more about our domes, which is kind of what we've been mainly doing now, but we also do earthbag. So our domes, we actually came up on from watching YouTube. We saw a video on YouTube of somebody building an eco shell, which is what they call it. The monolithic domes that they build in the United States are the polyurethane form remains in the building, so it's a one use. And because they have to deal with changing temperatures, they have to do a lot of insulation. So what we use is an eco shell, which is a reusable form. We have a 20-foot and a 30-foot form. So basically we do earthbag foundation, attach the balloon, inflate the balloon, reinforce it with steel, put the windows and door forms on, and cover that with cement. Once that's cured, we deflate the balloon, and you have your interior space. Then you can do your interior walls. But it goes really fast, and it's very strong. FEMA rates it as the world's strongest structure. It's a steel reinforced concrete shell. So we've made this strong structure beautiful. So we've done a number of them so far. So we've done different variations on how to separate the spaces and to create flat walls in them so you can fit furniture. We do a lot of built-in furniture, and we've now also selling our units with solar. So you're familiar with the energy bills that we get in here in Jamaica. So I'm sorry.
Dwight, I just want to hop in on just a few things. So one, going back, did you say you got a scholarship playing lacrosse?
No, football.
Well, okay. I thought you heard. I thought I heard lacrosse. I was like, okay. Oh, okay. Very cool. So I also want to kind of build a little bit more context. Can you give everybody just some context into like what the source farm is and how Earthworks fits into that?
Okay. Well, the source farm is a multi-generational eco village. So and there's eco villages all over the world, but we've focused ours on education. So we are basically a teaching village where we teach organic farming, we teach permaculture, we teach mushroom farming, we teach, building sustainable building construction. We also have residences. We have a wellness center. We have a community school building that we do all these classes in. We also have a community kitchen. It's really a community-based organization. We try to do a lot of projects that are based mainly in St. Thomas because this is one of the poorest parishes and we're really lacking in everything really. And just hearing from what you were talking about before, talking about starting new businesses, St. Thomas is right. There's just a need for everything here.
And okay, so I do want to build some context around St. Thomas as well. But can you also explain what permaculture is to everybody?
Permaculture, in my view, it's a sustainable way of designing, because I'm coming from a builder's point of view. But in general, it's a way to design your life so you're not spending your energy or wasting your energy. So you're trying to capture as much and build. We design in zones. Say, for instance, your zone 1 will be your living space or where you access every day. Your zone 2 will be the outer circle where maybe your larger vegetable gardens would be. Your zone 3 would be your fruit trees and so on. So it's really a way, and how we use it in designing is we typically send out a permaculture questionnaire for people, and it basically gets a feeling for what's important to them. And we use this in our design. When we go on a site visit, we try to capture where the wind is blowing to, coming from, where your noise pollution is going to be, and try to design that way. So you're not just plopping this house down, clearing all the trees and building a house now that you're now really hot in because you've now removed all your trees from the space. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to put some of these pictures on the screen. I don't know if you could see it.
I can.
You can. Okay. So could you, I know you were talking about the technicalities of it. So can you just explain the design once more as people can now actually see it?
Absolutely. So typically we combine these two really strong building techniques, the earth bag structure and the monolithic dome. Typically when you go online and you look for earth bag structure, you'll see a lot of circular buildings, and they're usually shaped like more like a honeycomb. We've utilized the earth bags just for the foundation for our dome system. The benefits of the earth bag is that you can use anything under your feet. Our first structure that we built, we used all the material for the walls from the material that was excavated from the hillside. So we basically, an earth bag is basically putting dirt in bags. We're lucky because we have marl to work with, and that's what we have locally. But you can use sand. The first building I saw was a sand building. So you can use sand, you can use dirt. It's basically just filling dirt in the bags. In one of these buildings, we have a structure on our property that was made from earth bags, and a crew of our local women built the structure. You need one or two people on site that know how to get the walls level and plumb, but the rest is just putting dirt in bags. But we're looking at our wellness center. So typically we use the earth bags to create a circular foundation, and we create a section under the foundation that we use for our cistern. Once we cast over that, we attach the balloon form, and it's a large balloon. Basically, it would be like a heavy-duty tent material. So we nail that to the foundation. Then we blow it up with one of those large fans that they use for those balloon houses, those kids' balloon houses. So once it takes about a half an hour for it to inflate. And then we connect the steel that's already in our foundation and bend it around the form, the balloon form. So you get a really symmetrical curved shape. The building that we're looking at now is a 3-bedroom and was recently featured on a YouTube channel called the Delprat Family. And right now it looks a lot different because the garden's grown up and it's really nicely landscaped. But there's a really nice walkthrough, and the interior of this house is really beautiful. The homeowner has really nice taste in art, and it's just really done nicely. But it's a rock solid structure, and it's low because if you look at the shape, we have eliminated with the shape the need for a roof. And in our construction, the roof is usually one of the most expensive parts of the building. So with incorporating the roof and the wall in one, lower the building cost and the material costs. Really, you just need about 4 inches of cement to embed the steel.
And I was going to ask, how do these structures hold up against general weather, but then also like extreme weather, like a hurricane?
They are great against extreme weather and general weather. They're very cool inside. The interior ceiling height for the 30-foot dome is about 12 feet. And what we try to do with the interior walls, except for the bathroom wall, is stop them about 9 feet so you still have air circulation in the building. But with the addition of the covered veranda, it makes it a lot cooler because you don't have the sun beating on that all day. So it's a very comfortable space. And the earth bag structure is even more comfortable because we do both types of houses. We do for people that cannot get their head around living in a round building, we do earth bag structures, which looks like a block and steel building from the outside. The walls are just about 2 feet thick. So it's feeling like you're in a basement. It's very cool. It's constantly cool. It never really heats up in that building.
Now, in regards to the standard building codes in Jamaica? How did, like, electric, plumbing, all of that? How does this fit into that context?
Well, the earth bag is already in the building code as super adobe, so it's been in the building code. And the monolithic dome is, which typically when we submit our drawings to the parish council, we have some questions because it's something they've never seen before. So they usually suggest we get an engineer stamp, and we have an engineer that we work with and has seen these buildings before. So we just end up having to pay him to get a stamp and look over the drawings. But they're very, very, very strong. There's videos of one built in South Florida that withstood, I'm not sure if it was Hurricane Andrew, but it was a really strong hurricane, and every other building in the community was leveled and his dome was still standing. But if you think about it, because of the shape, when the wind blows, instead of trying to explode a wall, it actually wraps around the building and gives down force. So it actually forces the building down. And with a combination of the earth bag foundation, it actually moves. And I don't know if you guys felt it yesterday, but we had an earthquake here, and we were sitting in the building like, all right, we feel pretty safe. I think it was a 5.1 at about 4:30 yesterday. So we were like, yep. So what we're going to do is go around and check and look for any cracks or any stress on all the buildings. But yeah, we felt pretty safe. It's earth bag has been tested. The person that developed earth bag technology was from California. His name is Nader Khalili, and he actually was hired by NASA to build structures on the moon. So, and his idea was, listen, I can't bring building materials to the moon. I'm going to use moon dust. So after he finished that project, he moved back to California and started his company saying, why can't I just put dirt in the bags on Earth? So we've taken his idea and built rectilinear houses and just kind of ran with it. And we're one of the few people in the Caribbean doing these types of buildings where it's needed. So we get calls from Grenada, Dominican Republic. We got calls from Puerto Rico after Maria, the last big hurricane there. And also, because it's sustainable housing, we've been getting calls now from different countries in Africa that want to. And because you can use the soil under your foot, you don't have to bring in a lot of materials. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. We have a few questions coming in from the community here. Clary T is asking if you could please explain the earth bag system.
Absolutely. For the earth bag system, once you decide what your floor plan is going to be, we dig out a trench for the walls, and the trench doesn't have to be any more than about 2 feet wide. We layer that trench with gravel, about 2 to 3 inches of gravel. Then we start laying the bags on the gravel. Once we do a row of bags, and we use the polypropylene bags, which are like the Jamaican chicken feed bags. So we purchase them on a roll and cut them to length, but you can use individual bags and do them. But we typically make a mixture of marl, sand, and cement. About 14, 16 wheelbarrows of marl, 2 bags of sand, and 1 bag of cement. So it's very minimal cement going in the structure. Then once we lay the row of bags, we tamp the bags with a tamper to get everything level, put a level line on that. And then we do 2 rows of barbed wire. Now the barbed wire acts as a replacement for the steel. So it gives you tensile strength in the building. And at the end of the wire, we tie it into the door and window frame. So each row, as you build, the row is tied, all the walls are tied together. So speaking of plumbing, and including plumbing and electrical lines, unlike the typical block and steel house when you have to go back and chip out and then put in the plumbing lines, where the bags meet, we put the conduit. So that's then in the wall already. You just have to fish your lines through that. So once the walls go up to the ceiling, we do a bond beam that ties all the walls together. So that's our first usage of steel in the structure. By when we use that bond beam, then we do chicken wire on the inside and outside, and then flash root cement. Once that's covered, the walls are done. And you end up having we built using the really large bags, but you can, if you have less material, you can use the 16-inch bags, which once you're finished covering them, they're about the width of 2 cement blocks thick. And you don't have that heat building up during the day because now you're surrounded by earth. So it helps the building stay really, really cool. And with the bond beam now casted, you can do any kind of roof. You can do a cement slab roof, you can do a hip roof, it's open. But you've saved a lot of money on the walls. A lot more labor, but less material.
Okay, thank you for that. That's kind of the next question I've seen a few people ask is what is the average cost? They asked about the 3-bedroom that we had in the picture, and how does it compare to traditional construction?
Yeah, we're coming in about $2,000 less per square foot to block and steel, and depending on, especially where you guys are, it's a lot more. I think last time I found it was maybe 22 per square foot. Yeah, 22,000, I believe. The last time I checked with Master Builder, and we're at about actually 16. So it's it's gone up to significantly less. And then we're working with using different materials. Last year we had a student from Cal Polytech come to our eco village, and his thesis project was to build blocks out of mushrooms. And it's been done before, but he wanted to try it. So that's another way that, another way we can build structures. Also hemp, I don't know if you guys are familiar with hempcrete. That's another way that we could lower the cost of building. And also even using a different reinforcement. Instead of using the steel, we could use BRC, which is a lot less cheaper and more modular. It would just take a little work in getting it to conform to the shape, but they use it in reinforcing walls. And so I don't see, and I actually talked to the engineers that designed this dome building, and they said that it works. So that would be another way of bringing the cost down.
Gotcha. No, that's great. 2,000 per square feet cheaper. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. And if you have materials on site, it's you can bring the cost even lower.
Somebody's asking about the cost of insurance.
That I don't know, but it is insurable. Victoria Mutual does insure them.
You said it is insurable.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
I don't know what the cost would be.
Right. If there's a difference between a traditional home insurance and this. Right.
And the cost for that 3-bedroom that you were looking at with solar was, I think last time we checked, was about 200, a little bit like $210,000 US. And that's, furnished with sinks and toilets and windows and doors and a whole solar unit that runs for 15 years. So the savings you'll make over time.
Yes. We got a question here from Chris Charles. Yes. Is there a maximum diameter of the structure?
Right now, what we have is a 30-foot, but we are actually working on getting a 40-foot that is 20 feet tall, so we can do 2 floors or a loft. But yeah, they go up. They're custom, so you can order 60 foot. The company that makes them usually does auditoriums and really large buildings. So these are really, the smallest sizes that they produce. But yeah, they go huge.
Excellent. KFN asks, does it take the same amount of time to build, I'm assuming, than the equivalent traditional home?
It's a little faster, I believe. It's about 3 months from start to finish. Yeah. Yep. And a lot of that is because of the balloon, because it's modular. Once we have all our reinforcements in place and we start to cover the balloon, if we start on a Monday, we finish covering the balloon by Wednesday, and by early the following week, we're able to remove the balloon and to start with the interior finishes. So it goes up really fast. And you don't have that added time spent on the roof. It's all done. And then we add a lot of light tubes that bring in natural light. So I don't know if you can see in light.
Oh, very cool. I thought those were like spotlights.
Okay. Oh, wow. Even after living in the house for 10 years, I sometimes go in the room and think the kids forget to turn the lights off.
Amazing.
But they're really bright. And it's really just casting. We cast it in with a a 1 gallon paint bucket and remove the bucket and put glass over it. So it's secure. It's small enough that no one can break into the house, but it lets natural light in.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? And it's open, like you're getting.
No, is a glass on top of the.
Okay.
the
Okay.
outside. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't leak. So we try to include those in all the buildings.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Shackstar is asking, you've given us the pros. What are some cons?
The cons of this building. I mean, if you don't, we had a lady came by a couple weeks ago, and she just could not feel comfortable in the round building. She basically went to the curves of the walls. Like, I don't, just some people don't feel, but we have another option. We have the earth bag. The pros is for the domes that it's cheaper than the earth bag. That's actually what kind of drove us to the domes, because we were comfortable. We were building earth bags, but when my wife and I looked, we were like, wow, all right. Even though we're building, we can't even afford it. We were poor. So we were like, all right, this is a easier system. And with this balloon, once we're done for our house, we can reuse it. So we've used the first balloon about 13 times now. So it's very durable. And if it tears, the form tears, you can catch it. It's really amazing. And this is made for tropical climates. This wouldn't work. I mean, they make them in the United States, but the cost is a lot higher because you have to leave that form within.
So are there any challenges, and somebody's kind of, I'm basing this off of a question above, but are there any challenges with the structure itself in terms of maintenance, and again, this is compared to a traditional home construction?
In terms of maintenance, not necessarily. I can't see, I live in one, and we have a couple other families that live on our property. And in the video I just told you about that was on YouTube, the whole video was an interview with the homeowner, and she's lived in it for 8 years, and she has no complaints. It's the best thing she's ever done in her life. And the fact that we added the water catchment, because of the shape of the building, when the rain falls, everything gets shed. So we create a catchment on the base, and then we funnel that into the cistern under the building. And then we have a pump that pumps that water out of the tank through a filter and then back into the house for use. So every time it rains, she collects water. She doesn't need to order water or get municipal water. And
where is the base located on the building? And I'm just thinking,
it's in the foundation. So so as we're doing our circle with bags, we create, basically, if you think of a circle, we basically take a pizza slice out of that, and we create our tank there. And you can make it larger or smaller, but we typically do a 1,000 gallon tank under the building, and then reinforce above it, and then cast the floor on top of it.
I see. Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And I didn't do it in my house, but our first client did not want a black tank on her roof. She's like, they're unsightly. And we're like, we have the space under the building. We're already dumping it up, filling it with dump material. So let's just leave part of that open for a tank. And we've had no troubles with it. We've had no leakage. We have no condensation on the floors inside. So it's just been, so everyone that we've done with that. So
I think that's a great idea.
And I think that I'm just going to say, especially we've been getting a lot of calls for people that want to do Airbnbs or boutique hotels. And I think we have a 20-foot form that's really nice, does a nice studio bedroom with a kitchen, and everything fits in pretty neatly.
So somebody here is asking if you can actually build on a slope.
Yes, we're actually doing that currently, but we have to do a retaining wall just to make sure everything doesn't slip. But yeah, our project, we're about 3 weeks left. It's a 3-bedroom that we're doing on the slope. It was a lot more expensive than the homeowner was expecting, because there was a lot of excavation that wasn't foreseen. It was a pretty steep slope, so we had to create a level to sit it on.
Gotcha. Jeff is asking, what about the integration of local bamboo?
I just had a discussion with someone a couple of days ago about this, using bamboo as a reinforcement, because it's been done. There's places that do it all over well. But I think just getting the parish council to pass that would be an issue, because they're just so set on, even our earthbag buildings. We've submitted drawings to Spanish Town Parish Council, and they looked at it like wire wall survey. Like, all the information is on the drawings, but because they're so used to seeing block and steel, so we have to go get an engineer stamp, and but it works, and it's not, it's not new technology. This has been done. I was watching a video recently of a house in South Africa that was 1830s. It was built, an earthbag house, and it was still standing. They were giving tours in this building. So it's not anything new. It's just that we're trying to revive it and produce it. And a lot of times people look at it, and when they see it in construction, it looks like a poor person's house. And Jamaicans are we're very, that looks like locally here in our community, they call it a bag house. It's a bag house. It just looks like a bunch of bags. But once you cover it with cement, it looks like a block and steel. I have to tell people it's not a block and steel house. Because from outside, it just looks like. But once you go inside, you feel the temperature and you see the thickness of the walls. You look at the window wells, and they're 2 feet thick. It's a bulletproof house.
Oh, it looks beautiful from inside, from what we can see looking in your home. Lenworth Lewis asks, can you build a building that is a combo of rectangular on dome shape? Would it be more expensive? Can you also install air conditioner in this type of building?
Yes, you can include air conditioning, and yes, you can. What we typically do with the dome, when we're doing more than one dome, we actually add a rectangular hallway to connect the two. So absolutely, we can do that. What we do is, just when we're in the steel work, we'll tie the steel work for the rectangular building into the dome. So when we put it together, we can cast it all as one. So it's more of a monolithic structure that goes up, less chances of leaking. But yeah, but typically we've not had to put any air conditioning in any of the buildings, because people, I gave a tour last week, and they would not believe me that there was no air conditioner on.
Wow.
Because it was at 12 o'clock, it was very hot outside, and as we walked in, we felt the temperature change. Yep.
That's awesome.
And more than willing to give anyone any tours that day, if you want to come and walk through the buildings and take a view of our community.
No, that's fantastic, because now we're talking about cost savings, right? That is in perpetual cost savings and forever. That electricity bill that you mentioned before, and then you combine that with putting solar on there, man.
Exactly. And water collection.
Yep, there you go.
Natural lighting, so you don't have to turn lights on during the daytime. We've lived without a light bill for the last going on 11 years.
Wow. So you don't have any lights on in your home right now?
None.
Wow.
It's all natural lights. All natural lights.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's very cool, because when before we built it, we sat on the land, got a feeling of where the wind was blowing and coming to, and almost always it's blowing in one direction. The only time we've seen it change was during a hurricane. So, it takes some planning and some time, but if you design it properly, your house can give you money. It gives you back. And we're all trained in permaculture, so we all do edible landscape design. So once we're done with the house, we plant fruit trees, and we set up vegetable gardens, and we reuse gray water, we filter it and send it back to the garden, so you're not just flushing it, and you're getting a second use out of your water.
I think you're gonna get some emails after this, Dwight.
So. We've been doing it for about 8 years, and it's just been crickets over here. We're in St. Thomas, and it's different. So typically Jamaicans come in there like, it looks nice, but it's for tourists, or it looks nice, but it's for foreigners. And shame to say, 90% of my clients are either return residents or Americans. Wow. Jamaicans just they can't, they want that multi-bed floor mansion with, many rooms that you have to clean and maintain for years. So we're trying to build not so much a tiny house, but a smaller footprint.
Right.
That is more economical. You don't have to save your entire lifetime to be able to build it, and enjoy more of your free time.
Moonlight Queen is asking a follow-up question with the air conditioning. It says no air conditioning, but what about heat when the times are cooler?
Yeah, we have it. The only time it really where we are that it's gotten that cool is Christmas, and it hasn't been, we just put on a sweatshirt.
I was gonna say when you say cooler, you mean like
75.
All right.
I know my wife teased me because she's from Connecticut. She's like, yeah, 75 is not cool.
Oh man, okay, gotcha. I like so. All right.
But we haven't had to deal with that yet. But I would say if you're building it anywhere in the U.S., or you would have to use one of the balloon forms that stays in the building.
Gotcha.
As a barrier. But that's the beauty of living in the tropics.
Yeah, for sure. Just a few more questions here. Clarity asks, I want to do 2 stories with picturesque windows. What will my challenges be?
I would say the best thing would be to do the 40-foot balloon, which I believe, I don't know off the top of my head, is about 2,000 square feet. But that is already a form that's 20 feet tall, 40 feet circumference. That's, you get a lot of space. And then you could do windows all around. Plus light tubes. You could do, panoramic windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some really nice things you could do, especially if you want, for the people that want the 5 and 6 bedrooms, you could combine 2 of those with hallways, on both levels, even a glass hallway on the top to look down. You could really do some cool stuff with it. Yeah, our wellness center. Our wellness center is the picture with the 3 domes, and the center dome. There's no walls in it, and they're really crazy acoustics. If you walk into the center of the building, it sounds like your voice is coming right down on the top of your head. It's like ridiculous echo. So we've done like capoeira classes in there. We've done drummings. We've done a bunch of musical things. They've shot a couple of videos using the space. So it's unique, but I think people think it's more expensive because it's unique. So we're just trying to make it cheaper because we know there's a need for housing, affordable housing in Jamaica. Look at what actually forced me to get in touch with the people that featured us recently. I watched their program, and they're, showing houses that are $300,000 up to $600,000 that, really, not saying that they're not nice, but it's a lot of money for for small space. So we figured we can do it smaller, do built-in furniture, especially utilizing some of those corner spaces that you typically wouldn't be able to fit a square couch in. Like behind me is it's kind of messy right now, but it's a large couch. We built it. It's out of earth bag. It fits my entire family on it. I didn't have to do anything, but I bought the cushions and had somebody, some stitching around it. But we've done a house with all the beds. The homeowner didn't want to go out and buy beds, so we just built in all the beds. We built in her sofa. She can't move them, but she also doesn't have to clean under them. And she didn't spend a whole lot of money building them. And then we do built-in drawers in some of them. We put outlets in the built-in beds, so you have connectivity and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So we're trying to not make them be like hobbit houses or caveman houses, but have all the modern features.
Gotcha. Someone is asking, be still. What type of flooring is in these types of houses?
The one that we're doing now is going to be tile, but everyone so far is opted for polished cement. It's just a personal preference, but yeah, and I actually wanted to do one tile. I think it would look really nice with the white tile. And we typically paint them, almost all of them are painted white, just to reduce the heat. because we realize if we do solar demonstrations here with high school students where we have a tile, one white and one black, and sit them both in the sun for an hour. You cannot keep your hand on the black tile. It just draws the heat. So we painted all the exteriors of the domes white to
Okay. And does that affect the interior color choice?
No, I think you interior color, whatever, but I think just the exterior, so it just reflects a lot of that sun.
Okay, and last question, and I want to switch subjects a bit here. Bev Smith asks, do you get insects inside the dome houses?
With my house, I do, because my door is always open. This is a kid. My kids come in and out, so I just leave the door open. But the house that featured on the video, no, we do windows with the mosquito mesh, and then there's door stops, and we also put a lip in front of the door so the door closes up to it, so it prevents from. We have some people that are skittish about lizards, but we're living in the country. We live in Jamaica, so
yeah,
the lizards are our friends. They keep down, and get rid of the rest of the bugs. But I know some people are, but you can definitely keep them tight. And depending on the window, if you're going to put in air conditioning, I would suggest using, that all-core window. We do a lot of louver windows here because we want to let in more air. But if you're going to air condition, put in one of those sliding windows that seals pretty tight, and it'll keep the space very cool.
With that, somebody's asked is there pictures online. So yes, there is. I would encourage you to visit earthworksjamaica.com. Get more information on there. You see some pictures, and also the sourcefarm.com as well. This is kind of how our discussion initially started. So those are great resources. Get some more information. Also, contact information is on there. If you just want to quickly say the contact information, Dwight, if everybody wants to get in touch with you.
My email is Dwight Shirley, DWIGHTSHIRLEY, the number 1 at hotmail.com. And my cell phone number is 876-299-4135.
Okay, I'm just putting this. I just want to make sure I got it correctly. You said Dwight Shirley at...
And the number 1 at Hotmail.
Number 1 at Hotmail. Okay, I'm going to put that on the screen. And phone number 876-299-4135.
Correct.
Okay. And can they get you on WhatsApp on that number?
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, gonna add that in. And there you go. That's Dwight's contact information right there on the screen. If you guys want further information. One thing I did want to make mention that I saw on the website is that these homes do qualify under NHT. I think that's very important. This is a big discussion that we've been having on our channel, talking about the NHT benefits and who qualifies for NHT benefits, and also the increases in the benefits that are coming in. I think about 2 months, I believe. I think July is when the increases start. So this building structure falls under that umbrella. I think that's an important piece of information for everyone to know.
Yep. Right now we have a client going through the process. He is building a 20-foot dome for Airbnb. He wants to eventually do a 30-foot for himself, but he wants to start with a 20-foot for Airbnb, and he's completing his drawings now for him to submit to Parish Council. He's in St. Elizabeth, so they're requiring him to submit 4 copies of his drawings. And once he gets those approved, then NHT will give him his loan. But I've asked him actually to document the process because I know it would be beneficial for a lot of people to know. So if I do get that information, I will be more than welcome to pass it on.
Oh yeah, thank you. And Clarities is asking what NHT is. So NHT stands for National Housing Trust, and they're the government body that helps you get low interest and sometimes even grant loans, if you will, for Jamaican citizens. And I won't go into. I have a video on it. We did a live stream on it, and then we also put out a white paper on NHT and qualifying for these loans. which you can, I believe it's on our website. If not, if you sign up for our email newsletter at throughtmedia.com, you can get a copy of that. But you are, as a Jamaican citizen, once you've contributed, part of your statutory deductions is the NHT loans. I forget, I think it's 3.2% if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that at all. But you have to contribute for 2 years in order to qualify for this. And this has to be your first home. You can re-qualify again, but I believe it's after an extended period of time. I forget the number of years. It's more than 10 years, probably 15 plus. But then you can do it again. But it really is for first-time homeowners, and this is the way of the government encouraging and assisting Jamaican citizens to own their first home. So I want to bring the discussion to just kind of closing out with a discussion on St. Thomas and get your thoughts on a lot of the attention and activity in respect to the future of St. Thomas being elevated, I would say, in the last year or so, especially with the road networks. The Prime Minister was, I believe, there last week doing a tour, and just wanted to get your thoughts on all this St. Thomas activity happening in your backyard.
Yeah, we're happy for it. We just want it to be sustainable. You know, we like our public beaches. We were just early this morning, I took my family down to the beach. It's 5 minutes from my house. Except for a little bit of trash when people come and leave their stuff there. And we usually go down with a trash bag and pick it up. But it's beautiful. You know, it's not, I don't have to pay anything to get there. And I can go to several other beaches like this. So that's one of our concerns. You know, of course, crime is one of our concerns with the new roads and everything. But I think everybody in St. Thomas is just begging for this to happen.
Oh, really? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's just so long. It's just really, there's no employment here. There's really no industry here. A lot of the students, once they graduate, they leave either abroad or Kingston, or because there's nothing to keep them here. So it's really needed. I can't even tell you one business that would not be needed here, you know. So it's open. It's really, really, really open. I don't know if you know the old Goodyear factory.
No, I'm not familiar.
There's an old Goodyear factory that's been closed down, I think, since probably the 70s. And
this is Goodyear, the tires?
Goodyear tires. And
Yeah.
it was from what I found out, it was one of the largest employers in the parish. So once it closed down, there were a lot of unemployed men, and then the banana production went down. The sugarcane factory just closed within the last couple of years. So it wasn't really high wages, but it was an employer. So now we have tons of taxi drivers, you know, more than anything else. So it'd be really nice to see some skilled and unskilled, you know, employment come in. And also some customer service training. It's so needed, you know. It's necessary.
Do you know why the Goodyear factory closed down?
From what I heard, there was a dispute over unions. I think they wanted to increase their wages, and what they said was just, we can take our business elsewhere.
Gotcha.
But apparently when it was in operation, it was going 24 hours a day, and the people were able to purchase a car and build a house. You know, it was a pain when that left. And then it's right at the entrance of Morant Bay. So it was an eyesore. It was just a rotting skeleton of a huge building for years. So now they've demolished it, and I think within the next couple of years, they're going to build a huge office park. So it's going to have, I think, a movie theater, all the municipal buildings there. You know, they're bringing in KFC, so everybody will be happy. That's one of the critiques we get. This place don't even have KFC. So, so we get a lot of school tours of kids coming from Kingston, and they come out and they expect to go to KFC. There's nothing here, so they're just like, nothing out in this place.
That's funny. If you were to make a recommendation of a business to start in St. Thomas, what would it be? And I would say in particular, someone who is in the diaspora thinking and looking for an opportunity in Jamaica, what kind of business opportunity would you think would do well?
Wow. My wife is saying a good school. We homeschool. School, I just talked to somebody the other day that actually his mom lives in Retreat, it's a community right below us. And we were talking about, he was asking me if I knew anyone that could help him take care of his mom. I said, there's no nursing homes here. Whatever they consider a nursing home is a house that they lock everybody up. Nobody has any activities. It's not, it's just people sitting on the veranda of a house. So that's huge. And because we are already kind of known as a health parish, we have a herbalist that works with us, and he's just like amazed at how many herbs that are just growing wild here that we don't know most of the uses of.
Oh.
And he's showing me stuff that he uses for breast cancer, and that just growing wild here. So if you're interested in any of those, that industry and like the herbal medicines, there's a lot of different things here. And oh my goodness, yeah. Mechanics, my wife's saying mechanic shop. We're lacking in all of the skill trades. Literally, if you want to get something done at a high level, you pretty much have to go to Kingston. And I told them, like, once a road is finished, a lot of those businesses are gonna come to St. Thomas, because right now it's, before the road construction started, it would take me about 45 minutes to get to Kingston. During the construction, it takes me about 2.5 hours, literally.
Yeah.
And once it's finished, I'm assuming about half an hour. So it should be very easy to just go back and forth, and really close to the airport. It's a really fast trip from the airport. It'll be all highways from the airport. So.
And do you know the construction timeline for it to be completed?
For the road, they're saying, I think the section from Kingston to St. Thomas will be finished by the end of this year. From St. Thomas to Portland might take a little longer because they haven't started digging up sections of that way. But once you get to Portland, like the Welcome to Portland sign, that section is done. I did that drive a couple weeks ago. That's really nice. So you see what we have coming. So it's you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That's awesome. That's super, super exciting. I'm very happy for you all there.
Now,
Now,
just hope that it grows, sustainably and not.
Yes. With the now, I guess on the non-business side, more personal side, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about moving to Jamaica? Again, mostly diaspora, and why should they move to St. Thomas?
I think St. Thomas, the property prices are still relatively low. I'm still hearing quarter acre lots for 20,000 thereabouts and going up. But once the road's finished, it's going to be skyrocketing.
Yeah.
It's one of the safest parishes on the island. One of the drawbacks is there's not a lot of there's no coffee shops here. Very few restaurants. There's probably 1 or 2 restaurants. But so that's another business opportunity. We're right by the sea, and literally there's really one restaurant, the one place and right now I think it's because of the population. There's not a lot of expendable income, but once that road comes, you'll have more people coming from Kingston. I was talking to a developer that's got some of the, I think he's probably got about 100 acres over in Pamphlet, and he's just saying that his lots are selling like super fast.
Wow.
Beautiful sea view, and can't beat it.
I was going to ask, is there still a lot of quote unquote prime real estate available in St. Thomas?
Yep, I think so. And once the road's is completed, it will be less, but there's still a lot of property. There's a hotel down the road from us that has been for sale for a couple of years. And
what hotel is that?
It's called Golden Shore.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the beach that we frequent. It's a really nice beach.
I forget the name of the hotel I stayed at.
Whispering Bamboo?
No, it's in Bath. the is it Bath Hotel?
Yeah, hotel. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And then you can go into the spring.
Right. So they're also talking about regulating that, when you come out, kind of get attacked by guys. They're trying to get those guys, right? They're trying to get it so it's not so oppressive for people when they come there. It's, train them. So that, and it's another, beautiful natural landmark that we have here.
Amazing. That was a place that it was a few years ago I went, but going there and leaving, I just felt so rejuvenated from that experience. And I wish I could. Hopefully I will do it at some point in the future again. But I highly recommend anybody who hasn't experienced that to do it. And I didn't realize that my dad took my grandmother there as well when she was alive. So that was kind of interesting to kind of be a part of that. With that, I think that's it. If you can just, I know I have it on the screen. If you could just share again verbally your contact information and where people can get more information on Earthworks.
Okay, my email is Dwight Shirley, DWIGHTSHIRLEY, and the number 1 @hotmail.com, and phone number is 876-299-4135. And you can also contact me on WhatsApp on that number. And if you go to the Source Farm website, you can see more about our construction, and we do building workshops. We're really just trying to get the information out there. We don't feel like we have to build all the buildings. We're willing to come and train people to build your structure. It's really just putting dirt in bags, especially for the earth bag one. A lot less technical.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dwight. I thought this was extremely informative, as you can see from the comments and the comment section, that so many people are very much interested in this. And I know you opened my eyes to a lot of information that I wasn't aware of. And I think you did the same for everybody else who's on the live stream here.
I just like to thank you guys for being patient. Last week we thought we were going to get it done, and I heard part of it, and then it got dropped. So, and also today. So thank you for
absolutely.
Let's get our little word out, and as we do our little thing in St. Thomas.
Yeah, and we're looking to come in July to physically meet you, and then also to see physically everything that you're doing. Like, the team is extremely excited about this. I know I'm super excited about it as well. So we're definitely trying to make it happen.
Yes, and just back on what we were talking about getting people back. We need more people. We have all these really bright Jamaicans that are out there. Just come home. I know it looks hard and it feels hard. It was hard, but once you get through that hard part, it's so rewarding. I've never at one point felt like, all right, as hard as it's been, I've never felt like, all right, I should go back to America. I've not been back to the United States since I've been in Jamaica.
What?
Not for a visit, not for anything. I've had my friends, my neighbors. I've missed football reunions, college reunions, high school reunions.
Wow. And how long are we talking here?
I've been here 11 years now. That's in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And I spent 30 years in the U.S.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, we're on the same page with that. I mean, for the most part, I would say that is a big part of what this channel is about, is encouraging people to look at their home country, consider it as either an investment and or moving here. There is just so much potential here. And to me, I always say, it's like, I'm not one, and nor should we be a people that should rely on the government to do this or to do that. They're doing great things with the roads and everything like that, but to make changes within our community and within our circles of influence, like, it's us. We're the ones who are going to have to do that. And to me, it's important that we take that collective responsibility and also that individual responsibility to really be and make the change that we want to see. And you are clearly a shining example of that. And to me, the more of these types of stories that we get out and that we are able to put on the platform, I hope people see like, hey, if Dwight can do it, I can do it. If Dwight is saying that he hasn't been back to the United States in 11 years, despite the challenges that he has faced along his journey, hey, that's saying something, you know. And you have a sustainable business, you have, and there are many other examples about out there of diaspora coming back, having sustainable businesses, having thriving businesses. And then even outside of diaspora, I always think, and I was having this conversation this morning with some folks, when we think about the, and I'm sure you can speak to this as well, like the influx of investment that is coming into Jamaica at this time is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life.
Unlike anything.
And I'm like, all right, if these big multinational, multi-billion-dollar US dollar companies are investing so much money in Jamaica, they've got to see something. And we got to think, like, these companies are not thinking in terms of 1 year or 5 years. They're thinking in terms of 20, 30-year spans. And that's the only way they're going to make these kind of mega investments. And I'm like, all right, if they're doing it, there's a reason they're doing it. They know way more than I do. They know way more than we do. And they have the data to prove that why they're here. And so it's like, you got to think, if they're doing it, there's a reason. And I'm not saying do it, look into it. And there's a lot of things that we can complain about with Jamaica, many things that we can sit down here, but those folks aren't sitting down and complaining. They're doing things about it. And all I'm asking, and all the case that I'm making here, is consider it. Don't get left behind either.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. So that's awesome. 11 years, man. I'm impressed. I haven't heard anything longer than that. Very cool. So thank you again, Dwight.
Thank you again, man. Appreciate it.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. That was awesome. I'll leave Dwight's contact information up there for a little bit longer, as well as the website information. So, and we can get back to the beach scene. Hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you all so much for your questions and your comments. I always appreciate the engagement, and I know our guests do as well. And that's so awesome that so many people were interested in this type of construction. And it's an alternative to what's already out there. So I think if you are looking at investing, is consider all options. And this is a unique way. And I think I never even thought from an Airbnb perspective, what a huge competitive advantage that is. And we already know, and if you don't know, Jamaica has one of the highest kilowatt per hour costs in the entire world when it comes to electricity. And if you have a structure that can save you all this money, plus the money on electricity, plus the water harvesting system, and you are doing an Airbnb, I mean, you are leagues ahead of the game, leagues and leagues ahead of the game, because that is definitely one of the things that need to be in consideration, is the cost of utilities with Airbnb, for sure. So huge advantage. It's up to you. If you want to do that, I hope you learned something today. And if you did, if you got any value, please hit that like button. It definitely helps out a tremendous amount. Let's hop over to the comments. I'm going to bring down these banners. Hope you got the contact information there. Let's see what's happening in the comments. Bev Smith says, the people want development, but not to be denied access to beaches, natural springs, and others. Yeah, I agree. So Bath, I don't know if anybody's been to Bath, but it's a natural resources, spring, river, super beautiful. I stayed at the Bath Hotel. It is, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but it was like going back in time. It's a very dated hotel. It used to be, I believe, was like a hospital, but they have these baths in their basement that have different degrees of mineral baths that you go in, and like you turn on the pipe, and it has, I believe, different temperatures, but also different intensities of the minerals. So you can only stay in these baths, and they're healing waters. You can stay in these bathtubs for like, I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. Then you start feeling very just woozy. I don't know, almost like not sick, but like just woozy, I remember getting like, I stayed in a little bit too long, and it's also very warm water. Got a little bit lightheaded, but our days consisted of getting up, having breakfast, letting our food digest. There's no Wi-Fi, at least at the time there wasn't. And there was always like, throughout the day, there was always just like light rain, just mist of rain coming down. It was like really, really awesome. No AC, mind you. Again, very dated accommodations, fan cooled, and breakfast, food digest, go down to the basement. We'd get in the bath for like, again, 10 minutes. I don't think we made it to 15 minutes. And then you like super relaxed. Your body, your skin is soaking up these natural minerals and elements. And then you go up to your room and you sleep, and you're just knocked out, and you just have like the most relaxing rest that you can imagine. And then you wake up, you have lunch, we eat lunch, read a book after you like let the food digest, and then you go back down in the bath, and you go in the bath and you do the same routine, and then you go back upstairs and you pass out again for a few hours. And like that was we did like 2 or 3 days, like me and my brother, and that was our routine every day. And it was just, and this was what I was alluding to about how rejuvenating it was. And I don't know the science behind it, but I know like the minerals, the natural minerals of the earth and of Jamaica was absorbed by my body. And again, I felt incredibly relaxed and completely rejuvenated to go back to the real world, so to speak, attack life, attack my goals, and highly, highly, highly recommend doing something like this. And you kind of also take yourself away from just the modern world that we find ourselves in. I don't know how else to explain it. And that separation, I think, is important, regardless of if you go to Bath or you go to a cabin in the woods somewhere, but just to be able to detach for whatever time that you can allocate to doing something like that. I think every now and then that is super important. And I found that really, really valuable to doing that trip. All right, let's keep it moving on these comments. KFN says, I think many Jamaicans went back. There would be so much money to invest. Claire T Media says, moving to Jamaica from my home is going to be tough, but I feel so liberated to be moving to Jamaica. Awesome. Chad rightfully says, electricity prices in Jamaica is crazy. With so much sun year round, we need to be looking in that direction instead. So much value there. Absolutely, absolutely. Natalie Holmes says, good afternoon, fellow Throppers. I'm late, but we'll give a watch/listen in its entirety later. Just returned from the grill Friday night. Awesome. Glad you were here in the grill, though. All right, let's get back to trying to see our lineup here. All right, so on the interview there with Dwight, I was talking, we alluding a little bit about the increased interest in St. Thomas from just I would almost say globally, but now nationally for sure. And a lot of it is being driven by the roads, and it just makes sense, right? You have you like he says before, it was taking him 45 minutes to go to Kingston, and now it's going to be half an hour. And we're like, what's 15 minutes? That's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially if it's something that you do on a regular basis. Now you're looking at, you can live in St. Thomas and work in Kingston. That's what that is. That's what that tells me. And maybe that's a guesstimation. We'll see what the actual time is once things get going. But that's huge. That's huge. And I think about the same thing with the road to Negril. We're going to get into an article about this in a second. The roads from Negril to Montego Bay, the bypasses that they're going to be creating over the next few years. And like you said, the people of St. Thomas are like, they're so excited and can't wait for this. And yeah, definitely hope that they're able to do this in a sustainable way. And also that what would I say, the core community and community people of St. Thomas are the ones to really benefit from this. And I also think, and this comes with patience, right? I also think that and hope that people get in early enough on a place like St. Thomas. And I look at it like, I don't know what my dad was thinking when he bought this property in the 90s, but there was nothing here. And that takes a lot of patience, right? That takes a tremendous amount of patience and also vision. Like, I don't think I would have that to see that this beach is going to turn into like this mega attraction in 10, 20 years down the road. But my dad saw that vision, and many of the property owners here on Negril Beach saw that vision. And so that vision could be realized very much in St. Thomas, very, very much in St. Thomas. But it takes somebody who has vision, it takes somebody who has patience. And like Dwight was saying, it almost made it seem like any business that you start there is going to do well because they don't really have much to begin with. And as I was alluding before, you don't want to invest in a community city that's at its peak and that is super mature. You can, it's just going to be a lot more capital required to invest, and then also to make your return on investments, right? Because like, again, if you're going into like New York City and you wanted to get into the restaurant business, boy, you better have some capital to go in there. And just also the level of competition, I would venture to say, like, to be your first restaurant in like Manhattan, man, that's going to be tough. You got to go in there with some experience, with a business plan, with a good team, and you're competing with the best in the entire world. So there has to be some element of your business and of your restaurant that you're bringing the highest level possible. In Jamaica, in Negril, like, not so much. I mean, I'm not to say like we have great restaurants here. We have amazing restaurants here, as a matter of fact, but the competitive the competitive landscape is not that of a New York City. And it's also going to be a lot less money to invest here and to do well here financially. Same thing in St. Thomas, I bet. They probably, just listening to what Dwight was saying, they probably don't have the volume of business that a Negril has, or the volume of business that would dictate there be 5 more whatever types of restaurants in St. Thomas. But I think the first people who get in there early, get their names established, and whatever type of business, like, you are going to reap the benefits. And of course, that's not guaranteed. Like, let's be honest, this is definitely not guaranteed. This is business. There is a huge element of risk there. There are a lot of, I would say, global events that are in process right now that we have no idea what will be the conclusion of these things, and it could disrupt whatever plans that we have and whatever optimism that we have here today. However, we don't make decisions in fear. At least I hope we don't. And I am not one to be on the defensive. I want to be an offensive player at the end of the day, regardless of wherever we find ourselves globally and financially. I'm going to head back to the comments for a second here. Dolores says, yes, we do need an alternative to have cheaper houses in Jamaica. Love the new option. X-Law says, the roads in Jamaica are on the top 5 list of impediments to Jamaican prosperity. Agreed. And I also say this impediment is being addressed directly. And I think we have to acknowledge that. If we want to be upset or maybe frustrated by the pace at which it's happening, I think that's fair, but it is happening. It is happening. And I think the government does understand and also appreciate the importance of having a interconnected road network throughout the island, and connecting towns and parishes equals more commerce, which equals a more prosperous Jamaica. And it's happening, and it's continuing to roll out, and it's continuing to be refined and adjusted as we go along in a positive way, in my opinion. Bev Smith says we go up the side of the rocks at Bath to access hot water in the open air stream. Yes, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that I enjoyed there. Just going up the river rocks. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, Bev. Sima on the Move says, "Love that we don't make decisions in fear." That's right. That's right. All right, let's go to this article. I just saw a funny comment. Richard says Jamaica will be the next Dubai in 15 years. Imagine that would be crazy. Okay, article we got going on here. Let's see if we could share my screen. Okay, got it right here. Okay, so this article, it's going off of last week, Sunday, I believe. We were talking about the plans to expand the Negril Aerodrome, or the Negril Airport, to basically 3xing the runway to become an international airport and take on international flights. And I thought that was a good idea. We talked about the positives and negatives and what that would mean for Negril. And we also talked about the bypasses. So this is the article. It says stakeholders want Lucy bypass, not Negril Airport. This is in the Gleaner, published on Monday, April 10th. And it reads, sorry, let me put this in the comments for those of you that want to read this on your own. You can go ahead and do that. It reads, prominent stakeholders in Western Jamaica are of the view that instead of establishing an international airport in Negril, the government should instead build the long overdue Lucy bypass, which they say could cut the travel time by road between Montego Bay and Negril from 90 to 30 minutes. I don't know if that is completely true, but okay, we'll go with it, and I'll say why. I'll give my reasons as to why. I don't think that it'll cut it by an hour, that one bypass. Hotelier Richard Wallace, former president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, said he is against building an international airport in Negril, as he believes there are other greater areas of need that he thinks should be focused on, especially the Lucy bypass, which would put an end to the perennial road congestion between Montego Bay and Negril, the region's premier resort towns. My personal belief, and based on my experience as a businessman and a hotelier in Negril, I believe a highway from Negril to Montego Bay would be much better than having an airport here, said Wallace. We already have an international airport in Montego Bay, and if we reduce the drive time from that airport to Negril to say half an hour, I think that would solve not just that problem, because think about it, an airport alone is only going to improve the arrivals of the people that can fly into Negril. Wallace, director of Boardwalk Resort in Negril, said if the government built the bypass, it would not only benefit tourists and locals driving to Negril, but also could open the door for cruise ship passengers to travel to Negril. If people could be made aware that the best beaches in Jamaica are just 30 minutes away from Montego Bay Beach, because right now it is an hour and a half drive both ways. Just imagine a person on a cruise ship docking in Montego Bay. and they would go to the beach. The bypass is there. The Negril is 30 minutes away. We have much more people coming off the ship and coming to the beach, Wallace says. Bear in mind also that you have thousands of hotel rooms in Montego Bay that are full most of the time. And if these persons also know that Negril is now 30 minutes away, you know how many people will come to vacation in Negril, Wallace added. Economic boost. He said that the bypass will give Negril an economic boost. David Stair, Custis of Hanover, said priority should be given to the bypass, which he sees as a key to addressing the daily congestion in townships like Hopewell and Lucy. Bypass, he said, will be a fix for the additional traffic that is expected to be generated when the Princess Hotel in Green Island opens its doors for business. That hotel is possible to be among the largest when it is completed, and I know the traffic to and from is going to be a big problem. I don't see where an airport in Negril will help, and I don't see as a role where people will fly to Negril instead of driving, said Stair. There are several large entertainment events in Negril throughout the year, and a bypass would contribute significantly as a means of travel to these events, not an airport. I definitely would go with the bypass if I had to vote to speak. Neville Humphrey, a businessman and former counselor for Lucy, said an airport would do less to improve the economy in Western Jamaica than having a bypass. I think the bypass is way better than having an airport in Negril. The bypass is much better because people will inherit the bypass, said Humphrey. How many people will fly from Kingston to Negril or Montego Bay to Negril, but will need a bypass? Lucy really needs the bypass. A bypass from Montego Bay to Negril is perfect, but not an airport. I think a lot of fair points in this article. I think tons and tons of fair points in this article. I'll go to the comments real quick, and then I'll weigh in. Axel says, I'd go with the bypass over the airport. The bypass benefit all the towns from Montego Bay to Negril. Jamaica really doesn't need another airport. Doubt you'd get a 30-minute drive to Negril, though. Maybe they can do both. Bingo. That's where my mind goes, X-Law. T says, what percentage of tourists end up in Negril versus elsewhere? Jenny B says, do residents of Hopewell and Lucy feel this will impede their tourism sector? So good questions, good thoughts all around. So I'll say this. I would think, so definitely, so first and foremost, like the Lucy bypass alone is not going to bring the drive down to 30 minutes. Mr. Wallace wasn't saying that. He just says if we can it's going to take multiple bypasses to bring that down to 30 minutes. Bypassing Lucy, I'll give you 20 minutes. Taking off 20 minutes off of the 90 minutes. So we're at an hour 10 right there. We're in an hour 10. Now, how you take off another 40 minutes, I think you can do another 20, 25 minutes if you take out Hopewell, for sure. And then the other bypass that they're talking about is cutting out the Montego Bay town. I think you do that, you might cut that down. You might cut out 30 minutes right there. That's under 30. That's you have those three bypasses. Now we're talking about an under 30-minute drive from Montego Bay to Negril. Mr. Wallace has a great point about cruise ship passengers. I know there are tourists from Montego Bay to come to people staying in Montego Bay, that is, not cruise ship passengers, that come to Rick's Cafe and take the 90-minute drive to Rick's Cafe and then go back. I've heard of Ochi. I'm not sure if that's still happening. I've heard of Ochi doing the same thing. But I hope people come to Negril more than Rick's Cafe if they're taking a 3-hour drive one way from Ochi. However, it opens up Negril to so much more. I agree. Like and to me, like a bypass, it affects so much more people, and then so much more business coming into Negril as well. And then even outside of that, we who was it? Sorry, got distracted. I think it was Jenny B. Yeah, talking about the residents of Hopewell and Lucy. So I think that it could. I don't think they like that. I would say that. You know what I mean? Like, because if you think about the Lucy town, like traffic is going to be diverted from those businesses. Maybe they wouldn't. I shouldn't jump to that conclusion, because now I actually think you're going to get people, like if I'm a business in Lucy town, that is, because like I am so, like, my mind goes to like, man, how can I avoid going through that town, because like I have no business there, right? And so to me, it's like I think it would actually increase business into Lucy Town, because now you have people that are driving through that don't need to be there, and they don't need to be there, and now it clears up traffic for people who want to be there and do need to be there. And so you might actually, I believe you would get more business if you're a business in Lucy Town, that is. Hopewell, I would think the same thing would apply. You know, I'm no civil planner or anything like that, but like this is just kind of me thinking off the top of my head. Because I think so. Even they're talking about doing a bypass. This is probably way down the road, but they're talking about doing a bypass for Negril, like Orange Bay. We talked about this before. Bring up the maps real quick. Where are we? I'm just gonna pull up the map real quick just so I can build some context here. So they were looking at doing. So this is Negril Beach, right here. So this is 5 miles, 2 miles, 7 mile beach, right? And zoom in a little bit, we got downtown Negril here, and we're moving along Nampro Road. And so they were talking about doing a bypass that would be from somewhere over here, either Green Island or Orange Bay, like coming right across. So say if you were in Green Island or Orange Bay, or somewhere over there, maybe even Lucy, like you'd come this way, and then you wanted to do business in Sav, for example. So you're here in living in Orange Bay, you would cut across the bypass here, and then you would drive to Lucy or Little London or wherever it is that you needed to go to, heading southwest, right? To me, that, like, I think that doesn't take any business away from anybody on the strip, for example. To me, it's even better, because there's going to be less traffic, less congestion on the strip, and the people who want to be there are going to be looking forward to being there, because there's less people, there's less traffic, they can do their business and get out, or go from one place to another, whatever it is that they have to do. So I think of it as a positive thing for those townships that will be bypassed, and the businesses that are directly in those townships. So that's my thinking. That's my off the cuff thinking. The article, or somebody in the article, also brought up a really good point about the increased traffic from Princess Hotel. So let's go to Princess Hotel right here. So Princess Hotel, I've heard, this is it right here that we're looking at, and on the map here. Oh wow, they have pictures. Let's go take a look at the pictures. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks 4, maybe 5-story building. That looks like a 5th floor up there, but you can't really tell. Hold on. I'm seeing this for the first time, like you guys are. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a video here. Let's watch this together. Just getting it. This is a really bad video. But this is the construction. So this hotel is, we're talking about it being the largest hotel in Jamaica. At least that's what they're saying. I don't gotta watch that, but This kind of gives you an idea. Hold on, I got another video here. Oh shoot, sorry. But you can see I know you can see in the background there. The buildings. Cool stuff. Big hotel. Interesting. Just seeing this again for the first time. But yeah, my point in even bringing this up is the point of the increased traffic, right? So my thinking is you have possibly the largest hotel in all of Jamaica, and those people are going to need to be bussed in from Montego Bay. What is that going to do for an already very congested road system? I mean, to me, it's 1 + 2 equals maybe 100 in this case. So it's fairly easy to see the amount of traffic increase and what that's going to do on a system that is already, I wouldn't say that at its brim, but it's up there, especially during certain times, especially certain times of the day, especially during certain times of the year. I mentioned before just like this season alone, where multiple taxi drivers that I've talked to, they've never ever in their careers, and some of these guys have been here at Travelers from the beginning. We're talking 20+ years, and they've never seen the traffic at the Montego Bay Airport that they've seen before, to the point where I told you all about this before. Like when I came in January, I literally I had to meet my driver, person who's picking me up, at the roundabout. Like I walked with my luggage from the airport to the roundabout, and multiple people were doing that because it was just so many people. They had a police officer actually stationed outside at the roundabout directing traffic because there was so many people. If you're like the bottom road, it was congested, like basically to Jimmy Cliff Boulevard. You were just kind of slowly making your way into the roundabout. And it's only gonna get worse. Like there's only gonna be more and more people who are coming to Jamaica, and in many senses, this is, Jamaica is a victim of its own success in this regard. But we don't want to turn it into a situation where people are discouraged from coming to Jamaica because of traffic and/or waiting in these long customs lines. And I know these things, and we're reading articles like this is being addressed. They see the numbers, they understand, and the more that the Minister of Tourism goes out there and market, the more we get social media influencers coming to Jamaica and telling people about Jamaica. There's more eyeballs on Jamaica, more people thinking about coming here, more people investing here, more people flying here. The increase of the traffic is going to continue to intensify. Princess Hotel is going to add to that. There's nothing we can do about that, so to speak, in terms of like we have this new market, this new hotel coming into town, and so let's do something about it. I don't know how long these bypasses are going to take. To me, I don't know which one is better to do first. Just do one of them. It's going to make a difference. Do one of them, I would say, more than anything else. Let's hopefully that we can do this pretty soon. From what I understand, this hotel is slated to be open January 2024, so we're less than a year away. Will a bypass be built in less than a year? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. But it's needed. It's definitely needed. Is it needed more than an airport? Like absolutely. I don't think there's much arguing with that. But to Xlaw's point, why can't we do both? And again, I cannot verify this. I will try to verify this, but somebody stated in the live stream yesterday that the extension of the airport runway was actually going to be paid for by Sandals. Not my words. Somebody said in the comments, he's a pilot that flies out of Negril Aerodrome a lot. So huge, taking this with, not calling him a liar or not saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, but like I haven't seen that in writing, and I haven't seen that from a verified source, so to speak. But just interesting, because if that is true, then again, why not do both? Why not do both? I think both would be awesome. Okay, let's get back to the comments here. T asked a good question. What percentage of tourists end up in Negril versus elsewhere? So this is years ago. So from a monetary standpoint, they did not even a study, but they were just running the numbers of tourism. And at the time, Negril brought in 26% of like, man, I want to say it was like tourism dollars or taxes or something like that. So a significant amount. I don't know in terms of numbers of people. I have no idea. That's a great question. I think we can get that from the tourist board website. I'll make a note of that and see if we can get an understanding of that. Tisha says, in order for Jamaica to be the next Dubai, Jamaicans would have to collectively come together with one mind to build a better Jamaica. I hope that does happen in terms of us coming together as one mind. Richard says Jamaica needs to make sure the current airports are fully upgraded to accommodate enough flights efficiently. Use that money to build a lot of new roads. Problem solved. I mean, the new roads are coming, and I was gonna say money isn't an issue, like in terms of allocation of money. Like, and I don't know, maybe that's what's holding it back from speeding up the timeline. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but hopefully that these things happen sooner rather than later. But I know that they have been earmarked already and that they're in process. At least the roads that we've been talking about today. Beth Smith says, yes, Throp, we can be impacted by global systemic, financial, economic, and climate shocks. That's right. Can't forget about that. Got a lot going on in the world right now. T says, Negril is a different vibe. Airports are ugly, noisy, lots of land. Kind of ruins the vibe. It could, if not designed properly. Xlo says you can cut out 25 minutes just by cutting out Montego Bay Town. Yep, I agree. I think that could be a strong 30 minutes, and like on a really bad day, that's over an hour you'd be cutting out with that bypass. Avon, welcome to the chat. Thanks for being here, man. Chris Charles says a thropper is a mapper. Go Google Maps. That's right. Got to pull up the maps. Bev Smith says St. Thomas has a rich heritage, crocodiles, historical estate buildings, and the traditional African drumming and dance of Kumina. Very cool. Cage Level says Jamaica needs to focus on a few more things, like they focus on their athletes. I actually don't think they focus enough on the athletes. I think, in my opinion, I think Jamaica completely takes for granted the athleticism that we have here. I think we can do so much more with our athletes, and I think we should be pouring a lot more resources into our athletes. I think there are so much more we can do, and this is just me. Like I haven't trained with Olympic athletes. I have been on the track training while they've been there. But my point is, like, a lot of these people, like the best literally the best runners in the world, like they've all started from nothing. It's not like we have like this system or program that we're running our athletes through, and that's why that they're successful. It's like, it's almost, the way I look at it, it's almost like a survival of the fittest type situation. And obviously we have, I wouldn't say obviously, but I think we have certain genetic advantages over other nations, and we understand that. And and our athletes have done so much with very little, and like, imagine we put a little gas on it. Imagine we had like a system where it's like America with football. Like, it's a system. It is a system like no other, where this is American football, obviously, where like we were just talking about it the other day. Like, even like I was put in this system when I must have been 7 or 8, you know, and like I'm going to, and it's just like the basketball system in the NBA system as well. It's like, yo, from a little kid, you're just put through this system with these trainers, with strength and conditioning, and then you're just moving through the system. So they have the pick of the litter of the highest and best athletes that are transformed into the next level. And Jamaica doesn't have that. And I wish they did, so we can have more. And it's hard to argue, right? Because we continuously put out the best in the world as far as speed goes and sprinters go. But then I also think of like, could we be good long distance runners? Absolutely. Could we be better soccer players? Like, absolutely. But we don't have that sort of infrastructure in place to really showcase these types of opportunities. So that's my take on it. I know, long rant that I didn't mean to go down, but I don't think there is a tremendous amount of focus on athletes. I think there could be more. I think there could be more resources allocated to them, but they are limited, and they have to go. These resources, that is, have to go in many, many different directions. Richard says Jamaicans are not mentally ready for a reliable train service. Oh, you guys are talking about that train thing. I will leave you guys. I'll leave you guys keep talking about that. Natalie Holmes, same when I arrived in February, took over an hour just to get out of Montego Bay. I had never experienced that before. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's going to continue to get the crazy. And yep, I guarantee it. When December rolls around, January, forget about it. I hope if you're coming down for Christmas, New Year's, just be mentally prepared. It's going to be crazy. But I'm sure the powers that be, they understand this, and hopefully they're going to be putting measures in to mitigate against these long, very, very long wait times. Letitia Jackson says, I just left Jamaica Thursday and I got through customs and out of the airport pretty quickly. I've been coming for about 4 years now, and it was the quickest I've ever gotten out of the airport. Yep. I don't doubt it. You know, we're officially in off season now, so you will get out quick. However, if you come in on a Saturday in January or December or February, forget about it. If you come in when I forget what that time period is, but it's like a Thursday or something where they're like 7 flights are landing at the same time at like 2:30 or whatever it is. Hours. You're not going to have that. You're not going to have those kind of problems this time of year, or at least you shouldn't. Andrew Mack says, we can't afford both, though, especially when there are so many places across Jamaica lacking proper infrastructure. So, Andrew, when I say both, there was somebody mentioned that this was going to be privately, the airport extension, that is going to be privately financed. If it is, then just do both. If it is, we don't know. We haven't confirmed that. This is at best a rumor, speculation, but we'll see. We'll get some clarification on that. T asked, what's the holdup on Basketball Airport? The airport is ready now. I'm unsure, but I remember they had to put that on hold because of some sort of regulatory stipulation that wasn't being met by airport officials. I'm not sure. Letitia Jackson says they're expanding the airport too. I saw where the ground was being built. I'm also interested in buying something for a vacation property. Yes, they expanded the runway at the Montego Bay Airport so they can take larger flights. We're talking so we can get destinations from further away. So this is also part of the Ministry of Tourism's plan to, as we talk about Dubai, getting flights from the Middle East, from China, from India, like direct flights with these larger planes. So that's I believe, this is what I've heard, that's the idea and that's the thinking, to getting these larger flights so we can get better long-haul flights. And maybe we can get larger planes from, say, New York. I don't know. Maybe there could be these charter flights where you have larger planes and then you can actually charge a little bit cheaper for people to, from an individual basis, that is. So you have more people on the plane, it'll be less for everybody, kind of thing. Just my thoughts. Angela Forbes says, good afternoon, Throp. Can't wait for them to finish that road. The last time I visited Jamaica, I was happy to see the construction of the new road. Residents in St. Thomas should be happy too. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like they are. Andrew Blake says more likes. Yes, we need more likes. Hit that like button. Really, really does help out a lot. Bev Smith says, I was talking to Angela Forbes. Let you guys talk. Go Explorer says, I think I hear that Negril gets more tourists than Barbados yearly. I would not be surprised. We have one of the best beaches in the entire world year after year after year. People want to be a part of that, and as they should want to. Richard McLean says Jamaicans are naturally talented with additional resources island wide. We could hold all world records. I completely agree. If we had more resources, I did a live stream with the forgetting the official name, but it's the Tackle Association of Jamaica, so American football, that is. Tackle Football Association of Jamaica, excuse me. So American football. And we did a live stream with them. We also documented their Super Bowl a couple of months ago. And yeah, Jamaicans don't play American football, but these kids are so athletic and they've been able to adapt to playing football. They actually, I mean, and I love football. If you know me, I played football my whole entire life. Like I said, I was put into the system when I was a kid, and I thought I was going to play in the NFL. Like that was like my dream. I didn't put in the work to do it. Like I had the natural talent, and I'm Jamaican. I'm half Jamaican, half Fijian, and I was really good at what I did. And so now, if you have like those types of resources put into like elevated resources, it doesn't have to be that of the American standard, but more than we have now, we're going to have more and more incredible athletes come out of Jamaica. We have two currently Jamaican champs in the UFC. One in Leon Edwards, who was born in Kingston and moved to the UK, and he is the welterweight champ of the world. And then we have, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting his name? It's because I'm hungry. I need some sugar. Let me see if I drink this coffee. It'll help. We have Sterling. He is featherweight champion of the world. I might be getting these weight classes mixed up, but both his parents are Jamaican. Grew up in Uniondale, Long Island. Went to school upstate New York. Couple years younger than I am, but he's a champion of the world in his weight division. Both Jamaican blood running through their veins. And so it's just like, man, like these sort of things tell me like we have the talent here. There's no question. We have the athleticism, but we don't have the resources. We don't have the guidance. I remember I was looking into pipe dream, but like even like representing Jamaica in the Olympics and looking for a distance coach here, and in the marathon, that is, because there are not a lot of distance runners in Jamaica. And this is like when I was like real. I'm still into running, but I was like even more into running back then. And I was looking into finding a coach out here, and also, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Looking for a coach out here, and then I called up some of the Olympic coaches and to see if they knew somebody that I could start working with. There was nothing. They said they only have coaches up to, at least the guy I talked to, up to the 1,500, and he said it would be even hard to find somebody to coach the 5,000. Don't have the resources. We have the resources in terms of like recovery, physical trainers. Like I would say we probably have the best in the world, like masseuses in Kingston, that is, because we have the fastest athletes in the world. So in terms of those resources we have, but we don't have coaching we don't have coaching for long distance. And I think Jamaicans could be exceptional at long distances, but that's just my take. MEX says, hi, Throb and chat. I would want to see African airline flight straight to Jamaica. I know they were talking about that, I believe, from Lagos to Sangsters at one point. I'm not sure what happened. That would be amazing. That would be really amazing. Gregory Hall says, I will build in Jamaica. I'm from Canada, where the cost of building is more expensive, and I don't bobsled nor like the cold weather either. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. I think I got cleared up all the comments. All right, let's see if we have any other articles here. Oh boy. I mean, I actually think we can wrap it up there. I mean, we'd be going in like the articles I have would be going in a completely different direction. Natalie Holmes says, "Give the stream a like, please. Give the stream a like. That would be awesome. That would help out a tremendous amount." XR says the Lagos to Sanctions would be awesome. I think so too. Ghana, Morocco. I think anything from Africa, like to just get this started, would be awesome. I mean, hopefully we'd be able to, well, drive tourism for sure. That would be the main thing, but also to drive business as well, drive commerce. I think that would be amazing if we could, like, interchangeably, not just Africans coming here to do business, but even Jamaicans going to Africa to do business. I remember that was a goal of my dad at one time, and he took in many trips to Africa to try and do various different types of projects. Miguel says, "Hi there. Are there any plans to have Andre Stevens on your program?" Is that from Meet the Stevens? Is that the same person? I don't even know if I know his first name. Let me know, Miguel, if that's who you're talking about. Andre Stevens. Who is that? Sorry, just looking him up real quick, just to make sure we're talking about the same person. Maybe not. No, it doesn't look like we're talking about the same person. No, I don't know. Oops, just went to his YouTube channel. No, never heard of him. We'll have to look into him if it's the same person that I just looked up. So never heard of him. I don't have any plans. We'll look into him though. I'm always finding out about these new different YouTubers that are out there, which is awesome. All right, I think we're gonna start to wrap up there. I gotta get some food. That is what's holding me up. I could do 3 hours easy, but you just gotta feed me. That's it. You just gotta feed me. Well, we're a little over 2 hours, and food is calling me. I have no new commercials to take a break. Do Podna TV. No, let me look that up. I'm trying to just Podna Draw TV. Sorry. Oh, okay. This is the same guy. No. We'll have to look into him. I'll take a look and see if it makes sense. See if we can collaborate. I will. So just a few announcements before we go. So Throp X tickets 2023 are for sale. We haven't started advertising. We didn't do any advertising for it last year. As a matter of fact, we just had conversations here in the community about it, and then you all came and supported it, which I definitely appreciate it. So they're for sale at thropx.com, so you can grab your virtual and or in-person tickets if you'd like. For those who can't make it, we will have a virtual stream for you. So that is thropx.com. You can also join the newsletter there as well, and that'll just give you up-to-date information. We also have, which we didn't have last year, we have an Instagram. So you can, if you want to follow us on ThropX at ThropX, you can do that as well, and it'll will keep you up to date with everything that's happening with that. Super excited. So the dates are November 13th to 17th, and for those who are unaware, ThropX is a Jamaica investment conference, annual conference that we have here in the Grill at Travelers Beach Resort. And yes, last year was our inaugural year, which went very well. We had speakers talking about various topics. Most of the speakers who came for the different panels we had were guests of my podcast in the past. And really, if you were thinking about investing in Jamaica or considering it and kind of just want to dip your toe in the water kind of thing and see what's happening and learn from the experts that do this. And when I say this, that is realtors, real estate lawyers. Also, we had different brokerage firms here as well to help and guide you through the process of opening a brokerage account here in Jamaica to be part of one of the best performing stock exchanges in the world. So we had multiples of those. Also, if you're looking to get, say, a bank loan, mortgage loan, car loan, we had different bankers. And it wasn't like they just came and had a table and you sat and you talked to them. Like, they made specific presentations to the audience, both live and virtual. And then you also had an opportunity to speak with them and ask them specific questions to your circumstances about whatever the topic of consideration that you were interested in. And it was also great networking. Like I was saying this last week, I think we had a real family feeling, I want to say. And many people who were at the conference I still keep in touch with to this day. We've exchanged phone numbers, and we talk to each other on a regular basis. I want to say I talked to somebody from ThropX 2022 at least once a week, and it's just been like that. We've just been staying in touch. So it was like a really cool, close-knit, intimate family event that I want to continue to kind of keep it at that level too. Like, I don't want this to be a 500-person event, at least not right now. At least I think it's important to keep it close-knit at this point in time. Let's close out with some of these comments real quick. And Otis Reed says, "Hi Throp, London Marathon is next Sunday. Will you be attending?" No. Hoping for next year. That's my goal. Hopefully, I can run Tokyo and London in the spring. Well, March and April. No, one of these years I'll be there. And Donna Bryce says, "Go eat Throp. Passing out during the live stream is not a good look. If we got more likes, maybe it's worth it." No, you're right. Yeah, I gotta eat. Tariq Smith says, "Wagwan, I'm visiting soon from NYC, looking at a few properties to purchase." Awesome. Good for you, man. Best of luck with all of that. Wow Factor says, "Beautiful beach scenery." Yeah, very nice one today. Owen says, "Throp, if you want to know who Andre Stevens is, you have to set a rat trap." Okay. All right. I gotta look into him. I have no idea. I have no idea who he is, but cool. I'll look into him. Julia for Justice says, "I'm late but can't wait for the conference." Awesome, Julia. All right, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it right there. This was another awesome live stream. I want to thank our guest, Dwight Shirley, once again for joining us earlier today. And if you're just joining and you didn't catch the interview with myself and Dwight, we started at I can't remember, but we'll fix the chapter market so you can see and skip to it. But it was a great conversation. We talked a lot about St. Thomas and the buildings that he's doing, these dome buildings that he's doing. Really interesting. I learned a lot about construction and the unique construction that he has in place. So yeah, we're gonna start closing out. Very thankful for a beautiful day as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the scenery. I know I did, and we've been getting very lucky with the weather these last few weeks. But I am gonna go ahead and grab some food and chill out, enjoy the rest of the Sunday here. This was another great one. Thank you all for joining us on another live from the 7 Mile here on the Throp channel. And we got some posts coming out. We got some episodes coming out this week, so you can look out for that. We will be back here next Sunday, same time, same place. Everybody have a great Sunday, and I will leave you with that beautiful beach view. See you guys next week. Peace.